And with that, I think it's time for that time that we all love. Rogar's recap. Take it away, Randy.
All right, taking it to the next level today, folks. All right, here we go. Putting on Rogar's recap for the recap. So, Cecilia, I heard you mentioning Idle Champions, which is odd because, you know, it seems like everybody's talking about them. I was in the market preaching the word of Irregulars and all to the peoples, but everybody was just buzzing about these Idle Champions. I guess a group of like heroes who are just stomping up and down the Dragon Coast, killing monsters and mad wizards and such. It's crazy. But anyway, so a lot of the artists and creators in Westgate have been inspired to create Idle's Champion products. And and the amazing thing is, almost all of it's free. Like, I can't believe they're just giving this stuff away, right? So anyway, I brought some home, and here's why. Like, well, first of all, I managed to get a couple of the free, like, you know, cool figures for us to play with. I got Bruiner, who is a dwarf, which is obviously the coolest race. And I got Celeste, who is a cleric, which is obviously like the coolest class. And anyway, but here's what I brought this home for us, is because I thought we could use it, right? I know you remember a while ago I made some art, and it's not the greatest, but anyway, like here's one of Artemisia. And I was thinking we could use this to like relive some of our past adventures and explore different strategies and stuff. So for example, like just, I think it was yesterday, like Artemisia was fighting in the arena, and her and like Stong were like fighting, and fighting, fighting the Raging Sorrel, this really cool and dangerous woman, and then Stone got injured. Oh no! Somehow he got injured. We'll talk about that later. And then Artemisia is like, oh, that's okay. I can fight by myself. You know, I'll take on an opponent. I think I'm ready. And so she was all ready to go. And then Sorshin comes in. Sorshin's this wolf knight guy who likes to wear a wolf mask, and seems obsessed with Cecilia. Like he's like, I'm your knight and you're my emissary, and by the way, I'm hunting a wolf, and who is, it's not good. Anyway, so Sorshin comes in, he's like, I want to help, and she's like, okay, fine, how are you gonna help? And Sorshin's like, I know, I'll help by making them attack you with 3 manticores. And she's like, oh, great, yeah, that's the kind of help I need, thanks so much. So anyway, but when there was this huge battle, the manticores were like spikes and claws and things, and Artemisia's like, pew, 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 with lightning and magic missiles, and Sorshin's all like, I'll stab you with my sword, I'll stab you with my sword. And then they killed all 3 manticores. But here's the thing, it was a really close battle, right? And I think this is where we can kind of learn from the Idle Champions, because the Idle Champions, from all I've heard the buzz in town, the thing that really makes them stand out is their ability to use formation strategy, right? Like they're very good at figuring out what the strengths and weaknesses of each of their party members are, and then sort of, you know, placing themselves within the party and working together to enhance each other's abilities. So for example, let's just say we have a sorceress who likes to throw lightning bolts and sleep spells around, all right? So let's say that you place her at the back of the party. When you do so, you'll see these little green lines that show you all of the party members she might affect with her magical abilities.
What a useful thing.
I know, right? So for example, let's say she throws a lightning bolt. Oh, we can see she might hit Stone, our half-orc bard, with that lightning bolt and singe him a little bit. Or she might hit Sturge, right? Which, of course, he probably is in disguise self, so he probably is asking for it. But still, she might hit Sturge, right? So she's in the back. Or let's say she throws a sleep spell, and she might hit the friendly and very good-looking dwarf cleric in the party at the front and knock him out. In fact, she might do this a couple of times, to the point where the party's like, oh, you must have been bit by sleep rats. And then the poor dwarf starts thinking there's such a thing as sleep rats, just for a random example.
Just hypothetically.
Just hypothetically. So instead, you might want to put the sorceress, say, towards the front of the party. Even though she's a bit squishy, she's flinging about those magics, right? Maybe move the cleric towards the back. So this is the kind of thing I thought we could learn from the Idle Champions. But anyway, and why I think this is important is there was such a close fight against those manticores, and we're going to probably fight things that are much tougher than that. In fact, one of the coolest things I've heard that the Idle Champions fought was a dinosaur from the jungles of Ch08. And not just a dinosaur, it's like an undead dinosaur that like spews zombies out of its mouth. I mean, that's pretty gross, but that's like so cool, right? Anyway, but then I was thinking when I heard this, I was like, what does that remind me of? We recently encountered like a monster, and everything that came out of her mouth was like really nasty and deadly and painful. And so I went ahead and drew this little wig. I'm just going to stick it on here like that. There we go. There, that's better. Now we have Marcelea. This is Artemisia's stepmother, Marcelea. And she, after the battle in the stadium, showed up at Artemisia's house and basically was like insulting and looking down on Artemisia and all of her friends and everything she's done and all of her life choices, and then was like, you have to come with me back to Aglaron to deal with the family business. And Artemisia's like, no, but I'm happy here, and look, I've learned magic. And she's like, so show me. She's like, fine, I'll put a hold put on you. Zap! And she's like, I'll brush it off. Because she's very powerful in magic. And Artemisia's like, crap, I guess I got to go home with you. But then Cecilia stepped in. She's like, no, you don't. Get out of here, you stupid cow. This is Artemisia's house. You don't belong here. And Marcelea's like, make me, you uncouth little. And then all of us Westgate Irregulars gathered around Artemisia and were like, no, you get out of here. We've got her back. And Marcelea's like, well, that's a lot of people to fight. Fine, I'm going to leave because I want to. And but I will be back tomorrow, and you are leaving the town with me, whether you want to or not. And that is no good. That's not good. But anyway, so that's kind of was our adventure yesterday. And I did, in addition to this, most of this stuff was free, like I said, but they had a couple of cool, like, super cool figures that I bought that just cost a few silver, and here's why. Like, these two I found were sisters, and so this is I think called Frida and Havilar. And from all I heard, like, Havilar likes pretty dresses and is a really good fighter, like you, Artemisia. And Frida likes to blast things, like you do, Cecilia. Of course, Frida's a warlock, and you're not a warlock, right?
Definitely not a warlock.
Not a warlock. But they're very strong sisters, and and support each other. As I saw you two support each other yesterday, which inspired me, and I thought I'd get you this gift. Aww. After all, you got me a bag of teeth. So I thought, I should return the favor and get you a gift as well.
They're top quality.
Yes. And so for having listened to all of this, you now get 7 temporary hit points for the day. And that concludes Rogar's recap.
Well done.
Thank you very much, Rogar. Well done. Well done.